How do you make a country safe for women? How do our leaders walk the talk? Also, the rape suspect Karnataka Seer is roaming free even now. Why is the political class in Karnataka silent? That too on the news today. But as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9 first. India Today's relentless campaign against the rape-accused Lingayat Seer in Karnataka finally forces some action. He's now set to be questioned. This after the chief warden of the Mutt hostel was arrested today. Both are accused of allegedly raping minor girls. CCTV emerges of another horrific case of assault by a stalker. Delhi minor shot at while returning from school. She's fighting for life in hospital. The shooter, Amanat Ali, has been arrested. Shocking VVIP arrogance in Mumbai caught on tape. M&S worker slaps an elderly woman in full public view after she objects to an M&S banner outside a shop in a Dadar locality. NIA announces a 25 lakh rupee reward for info on Dawood Ibrahim after the Don's location is reaffirmed by his brother Iqbal Kaskar. Confesses Dawood, Chota Shakil and Anis Ibrahim continue to live in Pakistan. The JMM Congress Alliance government in Jharkhand accuses the state governor of playing politics by not deciding on the disqualification petition of Chief Minister Hemant Soren amidst fears that the BJP could try and poach the UPA MLAs who are now in a resort in Chhattisgarh. Punjab faith fight after Taran church vandalization. Akal Takht alleges a missionary plot to convert poor Sikhs. BJP accuses the Maan government of going soft. Goa police records details of 2 bank accounts of murdered BJP Neta Sonali Phogat. Police to probe transactions between her and the accused PA Sudhir Sangwan. Moody's slashes India's economic growth forecast to 7.7% for 2022 amidst rising interest rates, uneven monsoon, slowing global growth. And a UN probe report names and shames China, says Beijing is doing unimaginable atrocities, possible crimes against humanity by torturing Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. Our top focus tonight, though, is something that I believe every Indian should really worry about. The rising incidence of crime against women in India. An NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau report had suggested a 15% rise just a few days ago. But this week again, we've seen India being jolted by the murder of Ankita in a village in Dumka in Jharkhand. The class 12 student was allegedly set on fire by a stalker whose advances she had spurned. Now a similar incident has emerged in the national capital. Naina Mishra, a student of class 11, was shot at by an alleged stalker. Naina is battling for her life in a Delhi hospital. In Mumbai, today a video has emerged of an M&S worker assaulting a woman shop owner. The attacker wanted to unfurl his party's banner in front of her shop. In each of the instances, we find women's safety, their security is at stake. They are being intimidated, and the question arises, where do these individuals get the impunity to act against women like this? I want to start today with that case of assault by a stalker in the national capital. The assailant has been identified as one Amanat Ali. He shot an 11th class student, Naina, when she was returning from school last week. CCTV footage of the attack has come out today. While the stalker has been nabbed by the cops, schoolgirl Naina is battling for her life in the hospital. Today it's Naina, tomorrow it could be someone else. We will focus on this tonight. Here's our top story.
Another day, another predator targeting India's Beti. Shocking CCTV images from capital Delhi, where stalker Amanat Ali opened fire at teenager Naina Mishra, a student of class 11. Ali was harassing Naina for months by stalking her on Instagram. Naina was shot by Amanat and 2 of his associates while returning from school. Naina's fault, she had blocked the stalker Amanat Ali on Instagram. She still has the bullet lodged in her shoulder.
जब से हमारे साथ ये हादसा हुआ, अब पुलिस दिखती है हमें, और ये कितने दिन दिखती है ये भी देखने की चीज़ है। ठीक है सर। और दूसरी बात ये है कि बच्ची सुरक्षित कैसे है? अपनी माँ के साथ नहीं है, अपने पिताजी के साथ नहीं है, तो किसके साथ सुरक्षित है ये बता दीजिए।
Delhi cops arrested the stalker Amanat Ali along with two others who had helped him target Naina.
तुमने 2 लोग हायर करे थे? 2 लोगों को पहले सिर्फ लड़की को मारने के लिए किए थे। क्या हुआ था ऐसा?
ये सब झूठ है।
क्या झूठ है? बताओ ना फिर क्या है, असल क्या है? असल क्या है? बताओ क्या हुआ, असल क्या है? बताओ।
हमारे स्पेशल स्टाफ की टीम को सीक्रेट इंफॉर्मेशन मिली कि मेन अक्यूज जो अमानत अली है वो त्रिलोकपुरी में आएगा किसी से मिलने के लिए। हमने अपनी टीम को वहां स्टेशन कर दिया एंड अमानत अली को कल रात को हमने उठाया। आज हमने अरेस्ट कर लिया है। ही हैज एडमिटेड टू द क्राइम।
The crime is a chilling rerun of 2020 murder of Faridabad girl Nikita Tomar on the outskirts of Delhi. Nikita was killed by stalker Tausif and his friend Rehman right outside her college. She was killed for refusing to marry him and convert to Islam. The capital horror comes days after another stalker, Shahrukh, burnt alive Jharkhand girl Ankita, who had spurned his advances. The stalker killer had outraged India by brazenly smiling in police custody. Ankita, in her dying declaration, had sought death penalty for Shahrukh.
हम घर में अपने पापा को 10 बजे रात को आए, पापा को बोले, पापा ने ठीक है सुबह होगा तो देखते हैं। और सुबह 4 बजे आके खिड़की से पेट्रोल फेंक के और आग जला के भाग गया।
तो पेट्रोल कहाँ पर फेंका गया?
पेट्रोल एक डिब्बा में 2 लड़का था, वो और एक छोटुआ था। हम खिड़की खोल के देखे।
How many more Nainas, Ankitas and Nikitas to go before India sternly deals with those preying on its daughters?
जैसे उसके लिए अभी हम मर रहे हैं, उसको वही सजा हो जाए।
आप ऐसा चाहती?
हाँ।
With Himanshu Mishra in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Ankita one day, Naina the next. Who will it be tomorrow? Stalking in India. Let me just give you some hard numbers at the moment. 9,285 cases a year. That's almost a case every hour. 774 cases a month. 26 cases a day. As I said, 1 case every hour. Source, the National Crime Records Bureau of 2021. And we'll tell you how that's rising in a moment and which cities are the worst affected. But I want to raise this question tonight. How are we going to deal with it, this stalking menace in this country? Are we simply a country that lacks gender sensitization? How do you make India safe for women? Is it enough to just have slogans like Nari Shakti? Or do we now need to really walk the talk? Miran Chadda Borwankar is former police commissioner Pune and one of the leading police officers from Maharashtra cadre. Malvi Malhotra is an actor who was stalked and stabbed in 2020. And I'm going to come to her in a moment. Kirti Singh is a women's rights lawyer who has fought these cases for years, senior advocate at the Supreme Court. And Lalita Kumaramangalam is former chairperson, National Commission for Women. I want to come to you first there, Malvi. Give us a sense of what happened to you so that we understand. You are an actor, a visible presence. You were stalked, stabbed, and did you get, give us a sense of what happened to you. Was there any protection that you had?
So this guy used to stalk my car wherever I used to go, and I noticed that, and I warned him once that don't follow me, otherwise I'll complain to the police. And I said something about his face or something that, you look ugly or something, and I think he took it on his ego. So next day I went to Dubai and I came on 25th October I landed, and 26th October he stabbed me. He was just waiting for me to come and kill me, and it was all pre-planned. He bought a knife, a chicken knife, from a store, and we have that statement of that store in our charge sheet. And this guy has pre-planned to kill me.
So
And because of
how
what
long was
they-
he? How long was he stalking you, Malvi, for?
From a month.
For a full month, he was stalking you, and you rejected
Right.
him clearly. And then
Yeah.
he comes where, near your house, and stabs you.
It happened very close to my house, within 300 meters. I was walking because I didn't have my car, so I had gone for a meeting. So I was coming back by walk. So that on busy road where people walk and cycling and does everything, he came and he stopped his car and he tried to force me to get into his car. When I didn't agree, he came after me and he stabbed me and he just vanished.
And Malvi, I mean, had he given any indication to you of irrational behavior? What was he, I mean, in the lead up in this 1 month, how many times did you encounter him?
So exactly what happened, he approached me for some work because he used to work with Neha Kakkar production house. And he approached me for some work, and I met him once for some work, and he said we are going to shoot this song at this date, and that time I was not available, so that didn't happen. And then again he approached me another day and he asked me to meet him. I met him in one cafeteria, and that day he was telling me that I like you, and then I immediately said that I'm not here for this, I'm here for work. And then after that day I blocked him. He was messaging me a lot. I blocked him. When I blocked him, he started following my car wherever I used to go. And then one fine day I warned him. On 8th of October, I warned him, and 9th I went to Dubai, and 25th I landed back, and 26th he stabbed me. So that was all ego. Maybe he
Did
was
you-
just
did you
wanted to
inform-
massage his ego.
Did you inform the police at any stage that this person was stalking you?
No, that was my mistake because I didn't took it very seriously, because Bombay people are not like that. They just
Right.
don't do all these things. This was very new for me. I'm here in Bombay from last 5 years and I never faced any issues regarding boys. So I thought he's just a stalker and he'll forget, because I'm not here in India for at least 15 days.
Right.
So I didn't knew that. I never imagined in my wildest dreams also that he's gonna do this, because I never faced any behavioral issues ever with
I
him.
can imagine what you've
He
gone
was very
through.
decent.
He was very decent, and that's the worry, of course, that he can suddenly go over the edge. I want to at this moment also go to Ankita's sister. Ankita's story has become national headlines because it's been politicized in a way. And there is a troubling Hindu-Muslim angle that has also been brought in, because Ankita was stabbed by someone, Shahrukh, who was a Muslim. Now the fact is, as I said, someone is stalked every hour. There's a rape every 16 minutes. So this is not an isolated case, and the politics apart, it's a case of a woman being in a way targeted. Ankita की बहन आप हैं मैम, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, कब से ये शाहरुख अंकिता को इस तरह से स्टॉक कर रहा था? क्या आपने कभी पुलिस को कंप्लेंट की थी?
हाँ सर, वो उसको 10-15 दिन से परेशान कर रहा था। स्कूल जाते थे, स्कूल पीछे ट्यूशन के पीछे परेशान कर रहा था, और उसको मतलब उसका नंबर कहीं से लेके उसको कॉल भी करता था, और उसको मिलने के लिए, बात करने के लिए भी फोर्स करते हैं। तो वही मेरी बहन मना कर दी, तो उसको धमकी दिया कि हम तुमको मार देंगे। उसी दिन घटना के उसी दिन रात में उसको धमकी दिया कि हम तुमको मार देंगे। तो बात पापा को बताई, तो पापा बोले कि ठीक है, सुबह देखते हैं, क्या पता कि रात भर में क्या कर देगा। और फिर सुबह होने से पहले ये घटना हो गया।
लेकिन आपने, just for our viewers, remember Ankita was petrol was thrown on her and she was burnt and eventually died a few days ago. I want to ask, बहन मुझे ये बताइए, आपने पुलिस से कंप्लेंट की थी, या आपको लगा कि क्या पुलिस जाने की बात आई थी?
सर, जिस दिन घटना हुआ उसी दिन रात में वो धमकी दिया, 10 बजे रात में।
उसके पहले नहीं, उसके पहले कोई धमकी नहीं दी?
इससे पहले कोई धमकी नहीं, और उसी दिन रात में धमकी दिया। तो फिर रात में कहाँ जाते, तो फिर बोले कि ठीक है, सुबह देखते हैं, क्या पता कि रात में ऐसा कर देगा। फिर सुबह होते ये घटना होगी।
पर इतने दिनों से जब वो आपके बहन के पीछे था, आप लोगों को नहीं लगा कि यार ये किस तरह का आदमी है? कहीं ना कहीं डर था?
तो सर, हम लोग को नहीं ना पता था, वो घटना घटने के बाद बताया कि हाँ 10-15 दिन से परेशान कर रहा था। और धमकी भी दिया हमको। तो वो धमकी क्यों दिया? तो ये बोले कि हम बात नहीं कर रहे थे, नहीं मिलते थे ना, इसलिए हमको धमकी दी।
आपकी बहन उनसे बात नहीं कर रही थी इसलिए धमकी दी? वो चाहती थी कि आपकी बहन उनसे बात करे और बात नहीं की इसलिए धमकी दी उन्होंने?
हाँ, किसी को मार देंगे।
मैम, मैं जानता हूं आपकी पीड़ा, क्योंकि आपकी बहन नहीं है। आज आप क्या कहेंगे? इस तरह की घटना होती है, हमने एक और मालवी मल्होत्रा उनको स्टैप किया गया था। क्या कहेंगे आप इस शाहरुख जैसे लोग जो हमारे समाज में हैं उनके बारे में? क्या कहेंगे? क्या चाहती हैं आप? किस तरह का दंड चाहती हैं?
यही चाहती हूँ फांसी की सजा हो। अगर फांसी से कोई बड़ा सजा हो तो उसको मिले, क्योंकि मेरी छोटी बहन मेरे आँख के सामने तरफ तरफ है और वो लास्ट तक बोल नहीं पा रही, सब फिर भी वो यही बात बोली। हमको यीशु बोलती है, लास्ट तक यही बोली कि यीशु पापा को बोला उसको छोड़ेगा नहीं। यीशु बजरंगबली का कसम, उसको मारना, उसको छोड़ना नहीं। पापा को बोला उसको मरा देंगे, जैसे हम तरफ तरफ के मरे वैसे उसको भी मराना। बोल नहीं पाती पर लास्ट में यही वो बोली 3 से 4 बार।
Malvi, I want to ask you this. What happened to the person who stabbed you? Is he in jail? Is he out? Where is he now?
Yes. So he is in jail from last 2 years, almost 2 years. And he tried a lot of things to get bail. Any dirty things also he's trying. First of all, he just bought my lawyer. He paid some money to my lawyer. We got to know from someone and we changed the lawyer. And secondly, these people are sending goons after me wherever I go. And people are chasing me, they are following me, and I get scared each and every time I go out. The police asked me for the weapon license, but I have applied for it. And secondly, then what they did, they went to SC/ST Commission in Delhi and filed a case against me that this girl is wrong or something like that. We settled that out. Again, they are reaching to my house in Himachal every time and taking goons with them. And after that, recently yesterday, these people are trying to put a CBI inquiry on me and trying to defame my reputation.
So you're saying you're being harassed even today for having, in a way, suffered?
Yesterday, I was stressed like anything. I was breathless. I was not having food. I was stressed and I went through a very bad headache. So these things are disturbing me each and every time. I'm not able to focus on my work. I'm disturbed with the lawyers, with the case, and all these things are going on. I just want to ask the government that why these people are getting or coming out on bail. This Indian law has to change, because if these criminals know that after a month, if they commit a crime, they'll come out. So I want to ask this question from the government, why they are not changing their laws?
I will
why
take
they
this.
are encouraging these people to commit more and more crimes?
I will take this to the guests we have, but Ankita की बहन, आप बताइए, आप लोगों को भी कोई डर है कि कहीं शाहरुख वापस बेल लेकर बाहर छूट जाए? ये डर है आप में?
जी नहीं, नहीं सर,
कोई डर नहीं है। आप इस जी आपके पिताजी जी अंकित के पिताजी भी है, अंकिता के पिताजी है, आपको कोई डर है इस समय की कार्रवाई इस तरह होगी कि इस व्यक्ति को बेल कल मिल जाए? क्या कहेंगे आज आप?
बेल मिल भी जाता सर ना, तो उस दिन मैं खोजने गया था। उस समय कोई भी रहता, मेरी जगह महापुर रहते हैं, कोई भी रहता, पुलिस प्रशासन उसके साथ ये घटना घटती है, कुछ भी रहता, उसको जिंदा जला कर मारता मैं भी सर। कोई डर नहीं, कोई भयभीत नहीं, कुछ नहीं।
आपको गुस्सा, आपको समाज के खिलाफ गुस्सा है, उस व्यक्ति के खिलाफ गुस्सा है?
उसके समाज खिलाफ नहीं, वो व्यक्ति खिलाफ गुस्सा है जो मेरी बेटी के साथ ऐसा किया।
और आप भी चाहते हैं कि उसे फांसी हो?
जी जी, फांसी से बड़ा सजा है तो सर उसको दिया जाए। हम तो 3 चीज चाहते हैं सर जी, फांसी, इनकाउंटर और हम लोग के सामने दे दे, छोड़ दे। वो तो 2 लीटर पेट्रोल दे करके जलाया है, वो हमने हल्का हल्का पेट्रोल छिड़के एक पार्ट से जलाऊंगा, तब उसके साथ होगा क्या दर्द है, क्या जलन होती है, कैसे तड़प होता है।
जी, मैं आपका गुस्सा समझ सकता हूँ। Let me just take these issues therefore to my guests one by one for their responses. You, Miran Borwankar, are listening to this. You are a police officer. Here are 2 women, and as I said, there is a woman being stalked in this country every hour as per NCRB. What would you say? Is this where does the impunity come from? Is it because there is no fear of the law?
Yes, to an extent it is true, and for that the main reason is that you burn a girl today and you may be convicted after say 7 years. So the fact that punishment for an offense is so late that people have lost trust in the criminal justice system. And like Ankita's father was saying, he would rather take revenge himself, or he would even sanction an encounter, which means, Rajdeep, it's not anger, it's akrosh of citizens, especially of women and family members, because they feel nothing will happen.
No, because in the case of Ankita, tragically she died. So therefore, Shah Rukh will remain behind bars. But as we've seen with Malvi's case, there is pressure on her to withdraw the case and thereby allow the person who stalked her and stabbed her to get out. So there is a fear that the law will not act effectively enough.
So Ankita's father is very hopeful that he will not receive threats. I have seen real life, and he and his families would be not only facing threats but also being would also try to win them over. So this is the stark reality, and immediate punishment, say a trial of these cases within a span of a month, is what will stop people from stalking and murdering women
so a
and
fast
making
track
them feel
court.
unsafe.
So you're saying a fast track court is the only way forward. Kirti Singh, you want to take that forward? Do you believe a fast track court is the only way forward? That because stalking cases seem to result in bail very quickly, therefore people believe they can get away with it.
I don't know whether they result in bail very quickly or not, but I would like to see that that the police act in time, that the police catch the culprits who are responsible for it, because many a time the impunity that these impunity with which stalkers act is because they think hamare kuch hoega nahi, you know, and that's how they are able to go on committing these crimes one after another. And we know that Delhi and Bombay are the two, Mumbai, sorry, are the two places where the maximum number of stalking cases occur. And as with Priyadarshini Muttu, you remember that old case?
Yes.
In which, you know, she kept on complaining to the police, but nothing happened. And eventually, it was a policeman's son who came and killed her. So, these are things I think we have to put our house in order.
So you're saying the law, the police also needs to... The police needs to act swiftly. You're saying the police needs to act swiftly. Right at the very first complaint, the police needs to act. Am I correct?
And yes, absolutely. Because if they don't act, then it results in more and more, you know, in the stalker getting bolder and bolder. And
you know, because
for instance, there was this case from Haryana.
Yes, go ahead.
You know about the case of this IS officer's daughter in Haryana. Now, the problem is that the two young men who were trying to forcibly open the car door, her car door, one was the son of a ruling party MLA. So, what do you do in a situation like this? And who obviously felt, it's the attitude of the stalkers also. This fellow obviously felt that he could get away with it. Then, there have been several cases in which just because the girls have said no, that from instance from Kerala in 2019, you know, where the girls have been killed, have been shot, one has been set ablaze by another young stalker.
So in a way, Ankita, in a way,
people.
You know, I take your point. In a way, what has happened to Ankita has happened to other women. But each case needs to be looked at without the whataboutery. We need stricter action. I just want to tell our viewers, stalking laws in India, Section 354D of the IPC is very bailable because it means the first offence of stalking particularly is bailable. So there is the problems with the law, there is problem with policing. There is also problem maybe with our institutional structures, Lalita Kumaramangalam. I mean, the National Commission for Women is taking up Ankita's case. Very good. It's got political, it's been politicized. But there are, every hour in this country, there is a case being registered. Where is the problem, ma'am?
First of all, I think, the law needs to be strengthened. As you mentioned, the first offense is bailable, and it should be made a non-bailable, non-cognizable offense. Secondly, most of too many women in India across the board, regardless of the crime against them, have lost faith in the system. You're right there. Not just the judicial system, but the police and the lawyers too. As was said by one of the other panelists, the poor child who's still facing so much problems, people are very easily buyable. And, this whole thing, I mean, it sounds like a ghisa pita thing that one goes on saying, but India is still steeped and soaked in patriarchy. Our men and our young boys, regardless, the brazen, sort of entitlement that they show when it comes to them following a girl or expecting any girl to immediately give in to them just because they want something from those girls is sickening. Families in India don't really name and shame their boys when they do something like this. They try their best to cover up. It's always the girls who face flack, even today, even in so-called Rajdeep, decent, big, whatever, educated households. Kirti was talking about Kerala. Kerala is supposed to be the highest educated state in this country. But to what avail?
So you're saying it is the patriarchal mindset which still prevails across classes.
Everything put together, but we have to strengthen. We have to also, make the police more accountable. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I know that there are some brilliant police officers in this country. But increasingly, you see how lightly the local police station takes complaints of stalking or domestic violence. And I've dealt with this when I was at the NCW. It's just sort of brushed off saying, "Arey, kuch hua nahi hai na. We have so many bigger cases. Kuch nahi hoga, just be a little careful." And then something happens and there's no going back from it. This poor girl, Ankita, didn't even have the chance to live. The fellow, just threw acid and burnt her at night. The other problem is the availability of acid on the market so freely.
Very important
How
point.
are people able to buy this stuff, which is actually, used for so many murders, not just stalking, etc. How is it the governments, both center and states, have not, made this come up with a big penalty for this? I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. And
you're making very important points, particularly about the free availability of acid. Go ahead. Yes.
How is acid so freely available, Rajdeep? In every major city in India, I can go to a shop, a little shop, dukaan as we say, and buy acid for 25 rupees. So how is that possible? And why are those shopkeepers not being hauled up? The system is against women even today. It's not just the police or just the judiciary or just the government or just the administration. The entire system. We just don't give women's safety the importance.
Can I just stop you for a moment? Because you made important points, but I want to get Miran Borvankar in once more. Because Miran Borvankar, is that true that in a male-dominated police station, the police thana, let's say Malvi had gone and complained to the police, what would the police say? Arey wo, ये होता है. We've heard this, that, there is लड़के होते हैं. Is there enough sensitization of the police constabulary about stalking?
Yes, I would beg to differ. What we are talking of is, say, the police attitude about a decade back. Today, all state police organizations have taken extra measure to sensitize their manpower. And in fact, we are saying don't go in for all women police stations. We are saying let us have male officers equally accountable and responsible for the safety of women. And therefore, each police station should have women as the constituent. The women constables and women officers should be there in each police station, but male police officers are ready to take the responsibility for the safety of women. And I wish Ankita and her family had approached the nearest police station. So please don't keep on saying that we are insensitive.
Okay.
We are not.
Okay, you're not insensitive, but clearly, as I said, the cases continue to rise. Therefore, let me go back to you, Malvi. you know, what is the biggest lesson you've learned? Do you still fear when you go out? Are you, how has this stalking and stabbing changed your life? Are you someone who now is very, very conscious of her safety even in a city like Mumbai?
Yeah, always. I always get that feeling that somebody is stalking me, somebody is following me, and I'm very careful. This thing is a positive point, that I'm careful, I'm cautious, but at the same time there is a fear in my subconscious mind that something is going to happen, and they are, doing something or the other to take their son out. The parents are there, their family is there, so they might do something to me. So I'm always scared. And one thing they have done is, my lawyer was in Goa, and he has been attacked by some goons, and the NC has been registered in Goa police station, and
your lawyer has
this
been
has
attacked.
been done.
Your lawyer has been attacked by the people you fear who are close to the stalker. Am I correct?
Right.
Even
yes,
though your
right.
stalker is in jail. Let me take that again to Ankita's sister and father. आप बताइए, दुमका में कई नेता वहां आ रहे हैं और उन नेताओं ने आपकी बात रखी है लोगों के सामने, और अंकिता की पीड़ा अब देश की पीड़ा बन गई है. लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो नेता हैं इनको भी, या पुलिस वाले हैं खास करके वहां के लोकल पुलिस, वो क्या कह रहे हैं आपको आज?
लोकल पुलिस पर बहुत मदद कर रहे हैं, हमको
कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, बहुत मदद कर रहे हैं. उनकी मदद से सारे गिरफ्तार हुए. बहुत तरह का मदद कर रहे हैं. पुलिस प्रशासन को कोई शिकायत.
तो आप मुझे कह रहे हैं कि लोकल पुलिस जो है वो मदद कर रही है, वो कोशिश कर रही है ताकि अंकिता जैसी घटना ना हो. सही है ना कि वो एक तरह से आपके फैमिली के साथ पूरा समर्थन कर रही है आपको?
जी जी, बस.
कीर्ति सिंह, to avoid this, is there a magic bullet out there in a patriarchal society like India? Is there a magic bullet that suddenly will ensure that the number of stalking cases will go down, Kirti?
There's no magic bullet, Rajdeep. We just have to take each case seriously. We have to change our mindset, from our Hindi films to the idea that it's a spurned lover who follows and does the stalking. The whole culture has to change. This whole culture has to change. We have to think of stalking as an extremely serious offence. The police have to take it seriously. The judiciary will have to view it also very seriously. And of course for children being stalked, as these are children, under POCSO, there is no bail that is allowed. I mean, it's a cognizable offence. The law under 354D should be changed, I suppose, and the first offence should also be made non-bailable.
The first offence should also be made non-bailable.
We just have to take this. Yes.
Okay.
And the only thing that I want to say is that I've seen several cases, but in these cases, despite police being brought in many times, nothing has happened. And the girls continue the trauma, that they continue to suffer the trauma, and they continue to fear for their existence, because stalking can be an extremely, extremely intimidating offence. And
let me leave it there, ma'am. Let me leave it there. I think this show has been done only to wake people up. What happened to Ankita should wake all of us up. It is a ghastly crime that happened with Ankita, और हम आपका दर्द समझ सकते हैं. Manvi, what happened to you is tragic. It should never happen to anyone. Miran Bonwarkar says that the police is being sensitized. Well, good on it. I hope it happens across the country. I just want to put a graphic of which are the worst cities. Delhi is the worst, national capital, with all our VVIP politicians sitting in Lutyens, Delhi. Those graphics should tell you the worst cities in this country when it comes to stalking in India. Delhi is right at the top when it comes to crime against women. Then you've got Mumbai, little surprising, Ahmedabad. Okay, you can look at all those cities there, but Delhi at the top when it comes to women's safety in metros, particularly involving stalking. So our metros are no different to small towns. We need a change in our system. We need a change in mindsets. and we need better policing and laws. But to all the brave women out there, all I can say is that I hope that our system will always be there now to protect you, and the system will realize it's time to change. I hope, though, the mindsets of our men change. I wish I had men on our program. Their mindsets need to change. Only then will the menace of stalking end. Thank you all very much, though, for joining me on our special coverage here on the news today. Let me turn from there to another case which reveals all that is wrong when it comes to the safety of women. Nari Shakti. But look at what is happening in Karnataka, BJP-ruled state, where a Karnataka seer accused of rape 6 days ago is still roaming free. Both the BJP and the Congress are staying silent. The pontiff is accused of raping 2 minor girls, both students, who were staying at the school hostel attached to his mutt. Political leaders, as I said, whether from the BJP or the Congress, are maintaining silence. Why? There is an election in Karnataka, and the mutt has a powerful influence among the numerically strong Lingayat community. Here is our other special report.
6 days since he was booked for child rape, Karnataka's Muruga Matsya, Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru is still free. On Wednesday evening, the seer was seen walking around the mutt, going into the girls' hostel where the 2 survivors also stayed. All the girls have been moved out of the mutt hostel. But despite several visits from the police and a lookout notice against the seer, he's still not been arrested. Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru belongs to the influential Lingayat community, which is a crucial vote bank in Karnataka. Assembly elections are just months away. Is that why no action has been taken against the seer?
ಎಲ್ಲ ದುರಂತ ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯತೆ ಹೊರಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಫ್ರೀ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಗಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಇವತ್ತು. ಆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಗಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸರಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗೋಣ. ಯಾರೇ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಾನೂನು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಂದೇ. ಆ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪಾಲನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ
ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್. Arresting, non-arresting is not an issue. The investigation should be proper. I hope the Karnataka government and Karnataka police are doing the proper investigation.
I don't know the fact. According to me, I have seen that he is a very noble man who has done some great contribution to the state. Let me leave it to the. Let me not interfere with the whatever the police or the government is doing late, because I can't only reply to whatever you are telling. Let me examine it, then I'll come back.
After days of outrage, some political leaders are speaking out, demanding action against the seer.
Booked under POSCO, he must immediately arrested within 24 hours. But in this case, that has not been happened. People are asking, why? Is there any law for the shrine and the common man?
Mutts like Muruga Rajendra wield huge clout in Chitradurga. With the Lingayats spread over Karnataka, the Mutts also command political influence, and several chief ministers of the state, including the current CM Basavaraj Bommai and former chief minister B.S. Yediyurappa, hail from the community. With Sagai Raj in Chitradurga, Bureau Report, India Today.
So why is the Karnataka rape suspect seer from the Lingayat mutt in Chitradurga still roaming free? Tomorrow will be a week. Why is there so much of silence on the Karnataka horror across the political spectrum? Should the civil society of Karnataka start speaking out? Are elections bigger than women's safety in this country? Joining me now is Tara Krishnaswamy, co-founder Citizens for Bengaluru and Political Shakti. K.V. Dhananjay is advocate at the Supreme Court. Appreciate both of you joining us. Tara, your first reactions. It's 6 days now and we barely heard anything from the political class. A person accused of very serious charges, FIR filed, but still no action, allowed virtually to take anticipatory bail, it appears.
Oh, we've actually heard plenty from the political class. We've had the sitting Home Minister make comments in defense of the accused. We have had, the ex-Chief Minister of Karnataka, Yediyurappa, make comments in favor of the accused. They have already pretty much given a verdict. You just showed on your screen another Karnataka minister make a comment that the police are proceeding with their investigation. How can they be proceeding with the investigation when they are not following the due process of law, when they have not arrested him as per POCSO, when, he actually attempted to leave and they stopped him. They stopped him, but they didn't. They haven't even questioned him. It's been nearly a week they haven't questioned him. And one of the survivors, both of them being minors, one of them also... this comes under the purview of the SC/ST Act, and yet absolutely no action has been taken around the accused. So it seems like the law is differentially applied depending on who it is. And we must, Rajdeep, for a moment reflect on the enormous courage of the young women.
Yes.
They are not, yet they are at an age where they are aware of the sheer imbalance of power that exists between them and the entire establishment, both the religious establishment involved here and the political establishment involved here. They know that politicians have been visiting this matta, and they also know just how powerful this religious establishment is. And yet these girls, having been abused for years, have come out and, so courageously reported this. And if this is the reaction of the government, it is one thing to, for the action not to be prompt. It's another thing for, for them to dilly-dally. It's yet another thing for them to come out.
Right.
And even before the investigation, coolly make statements of defense. That is just completely shocking. On what basis do they get to say whether someone's innocent or guilty?
Because at the end of the day, the Lingayat Seer that we are talking about is not just any other seer. He is someone who has been actively courted by political parties in Karnataka, both the BJP, Mr. Yediyurappa has patronized him for years, and Rahul Gandhi also was seen in a photo op with him a few weeks ago when he was in Karnataka. KV Dhananjay, what does that tell us about the law? As an advocate at the Supreme Court, what does that tell us? That the laws are different? If you are a powerful, influential person in Karnataka and there are elections 6 months ago, you are accused of raping minor girls, but the law won't touch you? Is that what the message is going out?
What we are seeing is perversion on the part of the police in Karnataka. And I don't think any member of the police force would be able to justify the fact that they have not bothered to arrest this individual, the accused person. Now, child victims don't often say everything at one go. And when the child victims here are expected to be aware of the political influence that the accuser wields. And after having said whatever they did say to the police, I'm sure the child victims would also be aware that the police have not bothered to arrest the accused. But instead, the police, in fact, let the accused to stay where he stays and then take these children to the very place for the purpose of a mazar. Nobody in this country would do anything of that sort. And that's the reason why I call this as perversion. And I think it's fair to say that the criminal justice system is falling apart. Because if you would want to, in fact, say that these are the signs that a failing criminal justice system sends out, these are those signs. What the police is doing in Karnataka is absolutely appalling. And as a lawyer, and I can tell you, I don't see a parallel to this at any previous point of time.
No, there have been cases we know in other parts of the country also where VVIPs are involved. There are attempts made to brush cases under the carpet or to try and go soft on these cases. And here you've got someone who in every picture that I show you is with even bigger and bigger politicians.
Well, I meant the circumstances of this case.
Sure.
Because we've come to read about the facts that the victims have stated to the police and to the courts. So in light of those circumstances, it's fair to say that we don't see a recent precedent at all. And the arrest of the accused is not done merely to placate the public. It's basically done for investigative purposes because it's got a protective effect on the victims. And very often in such cases, the police would know that these kinds of abuse may not be isolated incidents, and the police would arrest the accused so that the police can uncover the possibility of a larger malice or
So
a systemic.
are you saying in a normal case the arrest would have been immediate, questioning would have been immediate, arrest would have been immediate?
Almost always in POCSO cases where the head of an institution faces the allegation in the manner that this case involves, arrest would nearly be automatic. And it does not matter what the statute says, because what people get to see, what courts get to see is practice, which is 90% of the law. What the law states in black and white is only 10%. So what we always invariably see is an arrest. And we don't see an arrest here, and that in fact should tell us that the police is trying to in fact protect the accused, and that is going to have an adverse effect on the investigation, because the investigation would require people to come forward and speak to the police with confidence. That would be impossible considering what the police have done, because
so
7 days...
You're questioning the way the police have dealt with this case. The question, of course, is, Tara Krishnaswamy, that there is an election in Karnataka in 7 months. Everyone wants the Lingayat vote, and the Mutts have huge appeal. We've seen it. Mr. Yediyurappa has used that. That's why he's such a powerful, influential leader, the only BJP leader perhaps who's over 75 and not sent to the Margdarshak Mandal yet. So therefore, with an election, what does that say about the voter also? That voters are influenced. They will probably treat the Lingayat Seer with great reverence even now, despite these charges.
Yeah, it's interesting because after every election, there is a postponed analysis that says the women's vote went to XYZ party. Okay, so there seems to be enough of an interest to chest thump once the vote is gotten. There seems to be enough of an interest during election campaigns to highlight what, the ruling party has done for women. But right now, gender has been thrown by the wayside. It is men first, and then their caste first, and then their religion first. And, women don't matter. If Lingayats are 17% of the population, that is true. But it's also true that women are 50% of the population. We are half the voters. And why is it that when it actually comes to, proving their mettle, that the gender gets thrown by the wayside? And you have not just women, you have minor girls, and you have girls from an oppressed community here. And all of that has been thrown by the wayside.
So you're saying that for most politicians, caste matters more than gender. They have not woken up to the reality, or even women have not woken up to the reality that they could be a 49% vote bank, a 50% vote bank, rather than just a 16% Lingayat vote bank. Am I correct?
You don't have to be a 50% vote bank, although we are 50%. You just have to have the differential of the vote. After all, those parties that get the women's vote, they're not getting 50% of the women's vote. They're not getting all the vote. They're getting 2, 3, 4% more.
But should they not speak out? Should more people in civil society very quickly not speak out? And if the politicians
There's a
are
huge
not,
protest being organized tomorrow, Rajdeep. There's a huge protest being organized tomorrow. Oh yeah, protests are being organized. There are protests. There's a protest in Mysore that's happened. Protests are happening daily on the ground here.
Right. Okay. You're saying civil society is actually speaking out. The problem is with our political class, because our political class seems to move from one election to the other, and that leads to their selective morality. Enough of slogans, enough of tweets. What we really need is action. If 75 years after independence, a woman is being stalked every hour, as we said at the start of the show, if a woman is raped every 16 minutes in this country, we should be ashamed as a nation. This is not the new India we want. Tonight's program has, in a sense, focused on a darker side of our new India hopes. Tara Krishnaswamy, Mr. Dhananjay, I appreciate you joining me here on the news today. We will keep tracking till the Karnataka Seer is met with justice, because the fact is, howsoever high you be, the law is higher than you. Time for a break. On the other side is our good news today story. It comes from Nasirabad in Rajasthan. You're watching the news today. News, well, with the occasional bit of noise.
I noticed something new. You've started using a new body lotion.
Funny. So sorry for the delay. I was on another call. It just kept going on.
No, Papa. You have been a steam bath.
Steam bath? At home?
Two steam bath he takes.
Go to your homework.
It's 7:20 already. The kickoff's in 5 minutes. Get all the boys. We have the entire place to ourselves, man. Not working?
Of course it is. But I don't want you guys to be using this bathroom. So use the other one.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
Welcome back. Let's turn to tonight's Get Real India story. It's a heart-wrenching one that comes from Madhya Pradesh. A prime example of medical negligence where a 5-year-old boy died in his mother's hands at a government health center without getting the necessary treatment. Get Real India.
Very few things break your heart than hearing the wails of a mother who has seen her child breathe her last in her arms. These wails will pierce through the deepest recesses of your heart. A mother clutching on to her 5-year-old son as his breathing slows down till it stops. This incident of gross medical negligence will and should anger each one of us. Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, a 5-year-old boy died in his mother's arms without any treatment at a government health center. Sanjay Pandre and his family brought little Rishi to the local health center. However, even after waiting for hours outside the facility, not a single doctor or medical officer attended to this ailing child. And within hours, he died in the presence of his helpless, wailing family.
बच्ची को बीमार था तो मैंने लाया तो यहाँ पे कोई व्यवस्था ही नहीं हुई थी या कोई था ही नहीं तो कुछ उन्होंने कुछ जवाब ही नहीं दिया कुछ जवाब नहीं.
The incident once again puts the spotlight on the abysmal health infrastructure in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Sheer example of anguish, frustration amongst its residents, who claim that even after hours of the child's death, neither the doctor posted at the health center nor the medical officer were available.
तो कोई भी डॉक्टर यहाँ पर उपलब्ध नहीं रहता, यहाँ तक कि बीएमओ का भी पता नहीं रहता कि वो नौकरी कहाँ कर रही हैं, कब आती हैं, कब जाती हैं.
In a country where life is cheap and there is zero accountability, one needs to highlight this news story. Marta Temido, the health minister of Portugal, resigned on Tuesday for her handling of the situation involving the death of a pregnant Indian tourist. Her resignation came 5 hours after the death of the tourist in Lisbon, who was turned away due to lack of beds at a government hospital. She resigned, taking moral responsibility. One wonders if India has gone tone deaf despite these piercing wails. With Bureau Inputs, Preeti Chaudhary, India Today.
I sometimes wonder which India some of us belong to and which India some of us do not even see on a daily basis. This is the real India at times. Let's turn from that to another India. This is the good news story. Young Indians can be quite enterprising and entrepreneurial today. One such example today is of Ankita, a woman based in Rajasthan's Nasirabad who left her foreign job to get into dairy farming. It's our good news today story.
5 years ago, Ankita was working as a software professional in the US. But ill health and desire to turn an entrepreneur forced her to return to India. Once back in Nasirabad in Rajasthan, she decided to become a dairy farmer. She bought 7 cows, which she reared on her father's land.
So when I was in job, this thing was there in my mind that I have to do something of my own, and that should be something which is related to your health, and it should be beneficial for the society from the enable point of welfare, environment and everything. So other than farming, nothing was there which was actually suiting my thought process, and that's how I got into it. And my father encouraged me to be into this.
The beginning was tough. She went door to door, visited local parks to sell her desi cow milk and other products. Today, Ankita has diversified into other products. The last financial year, she claims to have made a profit of 33 lakh rupees.
So though I don't hold any kind of an education qualification in agriculture or dairy, I don't have any qualification in that. But it's through his experience and through my experience that I've learned so much and I've expanded it so much. We are into agriculture, so honey farming, bee farming also was a part of it. And that's how I built a range of 300 plus products of ours.
After making a humble beginning with dairy farming, Ajmer-based Ankita diversified into more than 300 products. Her journey after her return from abroad showcases her personal progress and also her contribution towards the society. With camera person Manish Devankur Vadhavan in Ajmer for India Today.
And that's the magic of India. You get good news stories and you get not so good news stories. And let's end therefore with a story that should bring a smile to the face. Heartwarming story all the way from the forests of Tamil Nadu, where 72 hours after a month-old baby elephant got separated from her mother, the forest department officials have successfully reunited the two. It's a nice jumbo happy story to end with. You stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.
I don't read the news. I read between the lines to tell you the true version of events. The true story of our times.
To document grief, the toughest assignment for any journalist to be.
From those who matter.
Women politicians going to stick up for each other.
Of those who should matter. I document the truth. I don't distort the truth. I don't glamorize the truth. I don't gloss over the truth.
The ghosts of India's contentious medieval history have come knocking again.
I hustle for the truth. On the ground, in the newsroom, in the studio. I don't try to grab eyeballs.
I inform you to make you see the point.
To the Point with Preeti Chaudhary. At these times,